Hello everyone, I hope you guys are doing great and I hope you have already watched the first part of the podcast with Alessandro already. If you haven't watched it yet, you can just go to the link which is shown above and also the link is in the description down below. So we will be continuing the conversation with Alessandro and obviously he will be sharing his experience related to wildlife and also insights related to human-wildlife coexistence and all. So let's proceed the conversation. Enjoy. And also since you are having expertise in this background, so I would like to know if you want to give any advice or suggestion regarding the preservation of wildlife, particularly the endangered and the species which are basically prone to be extinct. How to preserve them according to you?
There are many ways how people can get involved, and they can help. I think beyond the financial help, that of course is needed, but I believe that just paying attention to the products that you buy that are not, there's so much systemic pressure on wildlife that is depending on what we consume, that I think if you want to do anything beyond, again, supporting financially, is to just be very mindful about the products that you use, products that are not linked to anything on deforestation, for instance. A lot of species were lost because of loss of habitat, because of deforestation or monoculture. So making sure that those products are not related to anything that is having those consequences on ecosystems. And getting involved, supporting also not just with funds, but through social media. All these people, they have great stories and great things to share, and oftentimes the stories are not told, and especially the stories about the human part of conservation and wildlife and extinction. I was reading an article recently about how the consequences of biodiversity on the health of the guts of humans, and it's super fascinating. So we all know that biodiverse ecosystems are good for humans because they help keep, forests healthy and the soil healthy and da-da-da. But even the fact of losing species means that those species don't have the bacteria that then will inhabit our guts anymore. And that is having consequences. It's still a very controversial study, but if you can make the link to even the health of your guts and of your body related to the extinction of species, it's quite powerful, I would say. Despite, we know that we shouldn't lose species for many reasons, but this is an extra reason to pay attention to that. And the fact that conservation was perceived in the past as something that was just for the elite, let's say, and it was something just idealistic, or oh no, we don't want to lose the pandas because they're cute, or we don't want to lose lions because they're beautiful. Right now, it's more than that. It's literally, it's even, we don't want to lose the functions of ecosystems because we won't survive as humans, or we will survive miserably. So yeah, it's something that I think people should really start to pay attention to. And how I describe it to friends usually is start to see yourself as not an individual, but as basically an assemblage of all different relationships, species that came before you, that makes you who you are, and that makes it almost compulsory for you to pay attention to that fact and to do everything you can in your life. It doesn't have to be your work, but it can be any choice or action that you made that is respectful and takes account of the interests and the lives of all others, because they're in you. Is respecting yourself, respecting your species as well. So, yeah, this is a piece of advice. It's a lot, but it's a good way to live your life and to pay attention to more than just human business, I guess, because at the end there's no human or environmental business. They're all together and interconnected.
That's a great advice. And and also, as you have mentioned, that you are doing PhD in international environmental law from Nairobi University. So if you can throw some light like regarding what you are doing there, and also like the thesis on which you are currently working.
Yeah, so right now I'm in the process of writing the concept note, which means like a research proposal basically to the university to then be approved and taken on, and then I will start to write my thesis. The focus will be on looking at the influence that law has had and is having on human-wildlife interactions. And through that, I want to build the idea of coexistence being the target, basically for legislation, and to look at like how to judge how legislations are doing, how efficient they are, how favorable they are towards a harmonious relationship between humans and wildlife, and developing, parts of a PhD work is to also develop new concepts and bring something new to a specific field. And for me, I feel that coexistence as a target, although it's mentioned in many different instruments and legislations and so on, is very vague and is very maybe anthropocentric at times, or very environmental centric. It doesn't pay attention to the relationship. So this is going to be the focus of, one of the outcomes I'm hoping of the thesis, that starts with looking at how law is influencing the relationship. And then through that research and to be able to prove the correlations between laws and species loss or the restoration of certain species, like in Europe, we've done a lot of rewilding projects, and law has been both helping and not helping. They're also looking at the correlations, proving those correlations would then help me build a concept of coexistence as a legal target for governments and lawmakers to pursue, and policymakers especially to check how their policies are doing, right, and what they should be regulating, how they should be regulating in a certain context. And this was motivated by my experience in Kenya, in also in Romania, in the rewilding projects, because I've seen that a lot of the work that the people conservationists were doing was, and the way communities were seeing wildlife and they were relating to wildlife was influenced a lot of the times by law enforcement and how law was basically regulating what you should be doing with wildlife like lions, elephants, and so on. The fact that you shouldn't be killing them, the fact that in certain places animals are seen as commodities, so they try to incentivize people to not kill or to respect the animals by giving an economic incentive, and what that meant for a cultural shift, for instance, in certain areas. So this is a bit the focus, and there is just, if people are interested, there is a lack of knowledge and understanding, especially on how law has been influencing the attitudes of humans towards wildlife. So either aggravating or not, but most of the time it's aggravating, because you can imagine that if you intervene in a place where culturally, well, let's say if you start to punish people because they killed a lion, let's say, or any other animal that threatened them, and you put them in prison, or you get them to pay a lot of fines while they're struggling for their lives every day, right, and so on. Like you can see that as like is definitely not making people happier about wildlife, actually making them even more prone to hate lions, right? So, but even if things can be a bit more subtle, like giving an economic incentive to protect wildlife works, but not everywhere. So it shouldn't be in certain places. For instance, by bringing more money to communities, you actually are without teaching how to use those money, for instance, you might be aggravating the problem. Like Masai have been buying more cows, for instance, with the money they were getting from tourism, and tourism which is connected to wildlife. And the more cows there are, the more conflict there is, the more overgrazing of the land, hence degradation of land happens, right? Simply by bringing more money to local communities. So you have to be always careful, and this was done through legislation at some level or the other. Yeah, I mean, I can go on forever, but it's those linkages are the ones that I'm trying to build in different ecosystems. So I'm not going to focus on only Kenya, but I'm going to try to see how in different contexts the law has been shaping the relationship between humans and wildlife in different ways. And also, come with general principles, but also paying attention to the hyperlocal context and how, nuances and very unique circumstances play out differently in different places.
Yeah, actually, like in India, there are various restrictions on poaching and like killing animals. So I think I would recommend you to see to the Indian law as well. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a very good point. In India, there's quite a lot with tigers, of course, and very interesting, actually, super interesting. And I would say similar to Kenya. Yeah, Kenya's ecosystems, like because predators have act similarly, although the lions are the only cat that are grouped. I would be interesting to see how different species react in different ways because of the way they organize themselves. So lions are group animals, tigers are mostly staying individual, right? So they behave in different ways. But even in India, you have, at least in Mumbai, there is I don't know how many leopards. Sorry, it's not a word that you call it.
Cheetahs, yeah. Like they have basically imported cheetahs from Kenya, I think. Recently, India has imported cheetahs.
No, I know about that, but you also have. Yeah, I'm really referring to the Jaguar in Mumbai. Actually, it's a pretty known, phenomenon where you have, and actually it's so funny. The biggest diet of these jaguars is dogs. So they feed on dogs. That's how they survive. There's hundreds of them. There's a BBC documentary specifically on this, and
stray dogs.
The study of,
You mean stray dogs? Stray dogs.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there is a study that basically says that, I mean, because Mumbai grew so much, right? So they basically went into the home range of these jaguars, and so they populated the city. There's been human attacks and so on, I mean, even killings, but because they're attacking the stray dogs, there is a function that they're playing in controlling the population of dogs that have rabies and stuff. And so they're helping the human in some everyone. It's super fascinating story, and so this is one that I would like to dive deeper into as well, because that's the proximity is huge. Like there's literally they're walking around, and I think they have a few hundred, like 100 at least, jaguars. It's really, really fascinating. So yeah, and I mean, back to the PhD, like it's it's an interesting endeavor, and it's very, very happy to talk about it. So maybe a year from now, I can come on board and tell you more stories, because I'll be doing some field trips as well, to interview some of the communities. So yeah, I'll be happy to jump back in and come back with some fun stories on the wild.
Sure. I'll be happy to do so. Yeah, so yeah, I will be definitely like looking forward for your thesis, and whenever it gets completed, you can let me know so that we can jump on another call. And yeah, so I think we have covered most of the topics. If you want to cover anything else, you can let me know.
Yeah, so I mean, I mentioned briefly about the Sovereign Nation Initiative and what we did. Basically, we are trying to, and so for the listeners, follow us on social media, because there will be some interesting updates in the coming months in regards to how we are bringing the world of online gaming closer, very tightly close to the world of conservation and wildlife and animals, to basically bring, on one end, excitement, new playfulness into the world of online games. And on the other hand, we're bringing also funds and new audiences to the conservation world, which is definitely in need of new, fresh public engagement and new, fresh alternative funding mechanisms that are not only philanthropy based. So yeah, just that's I'll put it as a teaser. So I won't share the details of what it is, although I mean, some of the details are on our websites already, but there will be more and more updates.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Easier to follow.
Yeah, that sounds really awesome, and I will be definitely sharing the link in the description down below of Sovereign Nature Initiative.
Yeah. I think our website. Yeah, that's perfect.
Okay, sure. So I think we can call it a wrap. It's really nice catching up with you. And
yeah, thanks so much, Sid. Yeah.
Thank you so much for giving your valuable time and sharing a lot of valuable information.
Yeah, and thanks for doing this, and I think it's very important to have like very diverse voices sharing the work that they do with a public that I think I might not be myself be engaging with. So I'm also first of all, I'm thankful for the work that you're doing. Besides, a very busy schedule that you're putting this together is really wonderful. And then if anyone wants to reach out to me, they know where to find me, I guess. And if not, maybe Sid, you can put them in touch if they reach out to you directly.
Sure. I will definitely be sharing the LinkedIn profile in the description down below as well.
Cool. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, bye. Have a great day. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and get to know about Alessandro and his amazing insights related to wildlife and how we can preserve wildlife as species are getting endangered and extinct these days. So I'll be sharing the links of Alessandro's Twitter profile and LinkedIn profile in the description down below, and also the link of Sovereign Nature Initiative's website in the description down below. So you guys can follow them to stay updated about the amazing work that these guys are doing. So thanks for watching. See you soon in the next video.